Morning. So, I have no particular plans for this video apart from what's in flow and when I woke this morning. Before waking, I can feel various things to do with the stripping away of the 3D and how the energy is actually doing that. That we are in an uplift momentum. So no, we're not leaving the planet. The planet's energy is in an upshift. And that's because we're all well aware that some shit has had to go for a while that we were trudging through in 3D. So I can actually feel that as a whole perspective, because my soul doesn't have blocks for being here to help. So my soul in my unique way, and everyone else can look at it that way too. The less 3D human stuff, the more 5D enveloped, so to speak, enveloping and dropping away of old energy. So we've all had that old energy throughout our lives, and that's why I'm talking about it now, of the actual shedding to fall away. And so let's go there for a minute, see if there's anything to share. Anything more to share from my description. That it can feel, not it can feel, I have felt that it is and relate to this however you want to or not at all. However you relate to it is fine. But as a whole, you know, when we have to let go of something, like a baby blanket has got too old, right? And you have to do something about that. Now, I haven't come across that situation. I have seen early on in my life where children, for some reason, the parents did have to take something they were attached to away from them for health reasons or wanting the best for their growth. And it's time to, you know, like even like it's time to stop drinking out of the bottle, it's time to use a cup, these kind of things. Well, so too, we are those emotional beings and we are adults, but it can feel like a tearing away of something, right? But it's all energy. And you don't actually need the things that we're holding on to. Like, we're not here forever, so it's not like we actually own the energy of this lifetime. It's like we've had experiences and we're going to keep having experiences. So the 5D embrace to us, or us, a good majority, embracing that we have been doing this stuff and it is time for change. And this is all integrative in each person's, what they hold on to emotionally, what they believe, what they hold strong as an identity, but yet it's not serving who they're serving or how they're serving or how they are speaking to themselves and believing that they are just this conformity label or any expectations and attachments that go along with this, right? So in our integrative field, these things can feel like tearing away, because they're not truth. They're just like density attachments we've held on to. And sometimes you can't even see that it's not actually serving your being, your light, coming online more. And so this is the 5D education of us souls coming here, rising through some things, perhaps easier or quicker, because our souls have done, training in other lifetimes and in heavenly planes. And we can easily, it might seem easy, but it's whatever it is, it's leading a way or showing a way that is more relatable in a higher vibrational way from having practiced, experienced, known understandings of things and how they work, but not something that others can't learn, because we're all a part of this light. So it really does feel like we are in a tearing away time period. So what do? Well, what I just mentioned was we're all a part of life is better than what we have thought. Like when we think of life, right, most of us still would wake up and think, it's the solidity of knowing I go to this job. It's a solidity of knowing that person is going to be there around that same time in the morning, and if we need to, we'll speak. Or this usually happens in my life. Like, so familiar and commonly known and understood, those things are in place. Not did we often ask if there's anything else to life. And more, it would be in conversation of amazement if we found something out, or you wouldn't believe what happened to this person, as though there is glimpses of more, but what does that mean for me? Is there anything? We would not like really see. It was kind of just like mumble, 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 instead of having a clearer 5D reality response. Would be a knowledge that we're operating in limitation construct of mind and emotion. But we don't stop to sort of spread the curtains of energy. We just see it right in front of us. It's solidified, and that's life. But we have inclinations, or we're inquisitive. But if we stood out of the norm, or if we wanted to, we'd think, oh, it's too much hard work. Right, well, right there is when we include a belief in the subtle realm that nothing we have in front of us, or everything we have in front of us that we are holding as a solid nature, as to the way of life, how we operate, and what gets done. If we wanted anything else, or from the inside to feel like a higher joy in life, like I mentioned, oh, you should have seen what happened to this person, or I can't believe that there's actually another element to life. And then it kind of just goes down the gurgler in a way where you don't actually give those experiences more attention. So you go to the hard work scenario. At that hard work scenario where you think, oh, to have change in anything in this solid nature of life, it's just, Okay, so right there is where you got to break it open. and you've got to start to introduce the new, because you've got to let the light in, so to speak, so that your light can come out. So instead of this hard nature of life and this hard emotional mental block, like there's nothing more, this is it, it'd be too hard, someone else will do it, you got to let in the subtle realm into your perspective of hard shell you hold, to open your perception. So you got to kind of be disciplined on yourself and say, it's not actually hard. All right? But because you're entering the subtle realm, you can't go hard on yourself. So you have to go gentle. Now, these are the two aspects. The world wants me to stay hard. I need to invite who I am in the subtle to come forward and to invite it in. So this is more ego, solidify what I think life has to be, only because I've been shown and told it. And as we rise in this consciousness, now I'll go back to inviting the subtle in a second, but as we rise in this consciousness, you're going to come up against the hard, because we've all been operating in the solidify, the safety, guarantees, permissions, can't break out of this unless, this can't change, this never changes. This is all hard stuff. This is all what we've been holding in place in the mental realm. "5D wants us to stop this hard thinking. Now, we're not going to stop it altogether. You don't stop it altogether. We still need, minds are access to light, but access to light. They are not our light. They are a vehicle of understanding. They are like a tool, mind and emotions, of operating. And when we're back in spirit form, soul is of the mind, like if you would want to classify it. Mind, as part of our design, is how we can know things in these vessels. So you don't need to solidify mind for the higher realms. Like, you don't have to solidify whatever you think. You become more discerning in a awareness of this. Just because I think it doesn't mean like it is, I have to follow through on it, that it's law and order. As in, just because this person in my life says this doesn't mean it is. So this is the open space we're allowed to have. And, you know, we call it open mind. Keep an open mind in life. Yes. Because too much of us are shut down. And this is where I'll branch now into what was flowing this morning as well. That we can shut ourselves down using our overactive minds by believing in everything, because we might have an emotional connection with a person, an environment, and so we will tend to put our power, which is our thoughts, like our choices, what we do with our power, we'll tend to give over our construct of life for our building blocks to be a part of what others have believed, what others tell us, this is the time to understand. You get, I'll just give you some simple steps, but I'm sure I've done some meditations on it, and you can find meditations, but it's pretty much, you are not of the world no matter who they are. Okay? You have to maintain your healthy, free mind, subtle space awareness, which is a strength to be aware of, and make a commitment to getting present without the outside world involvement. So this is like most meditation teachings will say, let go of the world for now, let your thoughts come and go. And that's a space you want to get into, like a nothingness kind of space, because you're detaching from like all the physical, mental, solid nature. Don't worry, it'll be there. It's not going anywhere. You have to let it go. And you have to get present. And this is the space you get to know. Now, if you could just for a moment, because it's come to my mind's eye, it's of a spherical nature, right? I mean, your energy field is moving all the time. Your auric, like thoughts, and you take this with you everywhere you go. So just like a spherical nature. Well, so is Mother Earth, and so is a lot of cyclical design. So imagine Mother Earth's happiness and contentment if we do this for our own spherical nature. All right? So you're getting present. So imagine Mother Earth's energy field. She's happy and present. She's not all the people and everything they're going through. We aren't all the people and everything the world is going through. And we have this center of balance. We are heaven, and right now we're on a place called Earth. So the point of this is, when you start to carry too much construct and you start to become it, which is anything on the outside, you will lose yourself, your center of balance. And that is not who you are. And so if you catch yourself in life getting down or can't sort something out, that's not who you are. So we need to rise to the challenge, like lift our heads a bit, and be brave enough to look to others as well if needed, but also walking your path yourself with your getting present. I'm not of the world, and doing the work in this space, which is reminders that you are not of the world or what is going on at the moment. Because it's important to have this connection and this home base. And this base isn't going to build unless you choose to open your perception to where we've been and where we're going. Means I'm an intuitive, light, multidimensional, purposeful soul being, And I need to learn more about this. I need to learn it. I don't need to bow my head and conform to some rules that tell me rigidly. We don't need to put a label on what we're doing. All we're doing is, I need to learn what it means and the difference of where we've been to where we're going as a light being, which is energy essentially, which is powerful light energy, which is what we call, with our glimpses and our moments and our occasions and our experiences with each other on earth, loving feelings. So the light energy is always there for us. It's just whether we get through the veils, we call it, to embrace that that is who we are all the time, but we've been living in this, and as this moves and we move it out of our lives, meaning, the different things I've touched on with rigid, constrictive, mind emotion, like games with self. I have to stay this way. This is who I am. These built-in pattern, energy, story of who we are and attachments we summarize as illusions we choose. Stories, patterns we continue. Now, is this the healthiest? What is not the healthiest is getting torn away because of the density nature. And so when we hold regularly the space of, I am not all of this, I am not what I've had, I'm not what I've owned, I'm not a role. And this is one of the hardest ones, I think. This is the hugest thing to do with the tearing away. You know how roles for us 3D humans, and we're moving through this, they really do become a part of like this energy between our heart and our expression in life. So if we're to change that, that's something we've known physically, viscerally for a long time. And so it's very difficult with mental energy to allow a dropping away and a rising of joy into new things. But that's what we're doing. Because now here's the bigger perspective to do with this, the macro to the micro, we're energy. So whoever, whatever you had or have been, just fly on a little like a butterfly, like, okay, what's the next thing in life? Just to give you some like light energy movement assistance. Otherwise you stay sort of torn in this illusion that you get to hold on to this thing you call this particular title. All right, we have to loosen up the words we've constructed our lives on. And this is motherfucking huge. This would truly be the density of the 3D. I was going to say illusion, but alluding to ownership of 3D. Like, come to the bigger macro view of this. We don't own anything. We're not here for a long time. So that's where I was heading with the macro of it. We aren't, so I explained that. that we aren't that. We're not here to hold on to this so mentally tight, and to therefore use our emotions and drain ourselves, our energy and motion to drain ourselves, clinging tight to something that is essentially energy. That is, here's a higher perspective. We're souls, we have paths for the soul, not what the human in 3D would love to hold on to. So it's difficult in a way that, like metamorphosis, we always have inclinations that we haven't been educated to speak about. We know that, like spiritually, different things happen in life and we get amazed about it, but we can easily become more, experience more. But it's when we decide this thing that I call permanent, like concrete, definite way it is. This is why people go into shock when they have to like leave somewhere or whatever. Life and the soul is telling you, you're not there forever now, and you'll have this path and you'll have this calling to more. So it's whether you can master this understanding that you are a soul and not just a 3D'er, fighting to keep your 3D the way you liked it at this time. So you can see how the intensity of this is different for all of us, because I know that I was going through that kind of thing at some time in my life, but I also know I was more invited to the feeling of the spiritual aspect of the way we've been operating is so limited and kind of dense to do with my soul wanting people to live more of a whole, happier existence. And so you're kind of like in your metamorphosis of this, as I'll describe it for myself, and we all go through this. This is the way we've been doing life, this cocoon feeling. But the more I reach out and study of the soul, the more I listen to the resonance and spoken sharing from teachers, experiences of life, everyday people, the nature of angelic guidance, as we're all spirit, people can be angels at different times. The more you realize this, the less you are glued to something. So it was like the video I did yesterday morning, the last video, where this wing is coming out and you like it, right? And so you look back to what you so strongly use your energy to want to hold in place, and it's mindset. So it's mental, it's the mental. It's like the left side of the brain just likes the construct and the safety and everything. But, you know, to be content as a soul in life, this is going to have to become like a lighter aspect of, I don't hold on so tight. I follow like the central part of the butterfly with the antennas. I follow the soul path. I include all of life's nature on offering, because people on the globe at the moment, teachers of light being, are present for this, and we're all students and teachers of this. So, you know, we lighten up this 3D aspect to join the 5D. So that would be getting present regularly. I am not of the issues going on right now. You go into your presence And this is the intuitive nature. You start to learn about yourself, how others are intuitive. You learn about chakra consciousness, our design level awareness. You notice yourself and how you're functioning with your consciousness, but you keep remembering the macro version and vision of yourself on the globe right now and as a part of the universe, and how we're all going through this for that betterment. And so you're not, when you come into your own space, you're not everything that's going on in the world. You are, you have this space that you need to quieten down in for it to strengthen. And it's all these different aspects that I talk about, and many light being teachers, as we're all light beings, light being teachers and students of, continue our unique soul paths. And we're all doing this. So you can't ignore these aspects and elements, and what seems to be a quiet, invisible kind of structure when people insult the spiritual life. But we can't ignore it now, and 3D has done its best to convince the human race that it is more 3D than anything. But in this subtle space that we all are in this design, you can't ignore it anymore. And we're unique souls. So if you even just play with the idea that we're unique eternal souls, right, and we're opening to more of this subtle realm of us, and if you learn anything at all about the soul, it's that being eternal, it's a library of information of yourself in the Akashic records, but it's all present going forward, if we were to describe it, in this now moment. So you don't know all of what, you don't need to know when you're visiting Earth all of what your soul has been through. You need your presence for why your soul has came. So we can't ignore the subtle realm anymore, and we each need our lights inside to come on with becoming. So allowance and strengthening. So we can no longer just be thinkers with bodies and making things happen, like physically. So we do need the macro view of the whole picture and how we are a macro, each of us, of the macro. And it's in our micro, like in the metamorphosis, the old glugginess into development of like becoming. So what seemed like glugginess is actually us knowing the design of what we really are, the butterfly. So yeah, the important elements of this talk is to remember the spherical space, and when you feel, if you feel any kind of feelings at all, at any time of crushing of the spirit or soul, okay, at any time. Because we all know we feel these things, but we just sort of hide our feelings inside as though, you know, what will the world think? Which is fine. You don't have to share everything. But it's more acknowledge that you can do something about this, as in internally, as in speaking to yourself and saying, I need to make some changes in this, but coming from this place, this home-based central space that stands up for itself in this way. So there's some things you must do for your wings to take its place and space. Otherwise, you will just feel squashed in and kind of gluggy. By the world, and you can describe that in many ways. Heavy, etc. Your wings can take up space in this world. You were born to express yourself. And you do have the nurture and nourishment inside as to the caterpillar. Like you have all the divine substance you need to spread your wings. So this is probably what I'll end on. We'll just sort of slow down into the quiet to end on this. Is that, and I just need to clear my head because I've still got my tears trying to attach electrically to my energy field, and it is annoying. Oh. So I guess I'll update you on that as well. And it coincides what I'm about to talk about as well, interestingly enough. So what I was branching into just a second ago, well, minutes ago, was to do with branch out into, you know, the wings with your intuitive nature in your space. You maintain this space, so you start to learn of what you haven't learned before about the energetic design of us and how multidimensionally we are all playing a part from our space on the globe space and assisting the universe in this way. So your intuitive nature that you open the gate on is when you've begun to maintain this space awareness, right? You don't let the world come in and do this stuff to you. Like, you are letting it happen. We can't fight the outside world if someone does something or whatever. We've got to take a look at how we're maintaining our space, because we will be attracting from how we're maintaining our space, which is the mind and emotions and the accumulation and what we let in our lives, what environments we choose to put our space in. I'm taking myself into this. Oh, I'm feeling different vibes here, or this environment is worn out for me now. I don't feel, you know, a calling here. So you keep maintaining this space and learning of the intuitive nature and strengthening the subtle that you are, means you get on the spiritual path. When you get guided, you will get guidance learning these things, and you will guide yourself. And you will receive, you are co-creating, and you're guiding yourself to listen to your guidance as well. That comes in the more we raise our vibration 4 and 5D. So when you know this space, right? And when you know you're in this momentum where you're starting to do this, you request and work with your guides, raise my vibration, raise my vibration, raise my vibration. Okay, you can word this however you like, but that's the one I'm using for the moment because it's quick, easy, and responsive. Because what you're saying is, I can't see clear right now. I'm stuck in either a vibration or a change is occurring, and I want to clear the path and see clearer. So this is a part of our nature to call on our guides, because the whole process we're going through as I'm explaining it, we have guides, we have light guides, and we co-create with the universe in this way. Our guides are like gatekeepers. I mean, you can study and they can be called different things, but they're like, we know the energy of this person's field, we know their soul path, and they come to us in this request, and they can assist with this direct contact for us to get what we need to get, as in understand what we need to see. Like, it's a feeling response, but this is through your holding your space and strengthening this subtle, which will feel like a mental shift in time. All of this can flow differently for everyone in different ways, but what I'm getting to is, this is where you get honest on your path, because the subtle realm is not like, just over there. The subtle realm is everywhere. So when you feel, know, sense, or see your guidance, you got it. All right, you got something. Now that's allowing the strength of the subtle realm. You will take it seriously. Okay? You will lighten your way, like the butterfly element. You will open a wing to it, and you will not have heavy construct that stops you from embracing this subtle. So when you request something like, at any time, if you can feel your energy, or you're in some discrepancy perhaps, or you just got to make a choice and you don't know your way, stop, pause, breathe, let go essentially of whatever it was. Raise my vibration, raise my vibration, raise my vibration. You are making space for that subtle realm to clear the way, and to perhaps open your eyes then, or to get an idea once you're sitting in this space. And it's literally co-creation. See, it's energy. You requested it, or even at times, if you might be really stuck, you command it, because they're listening and they want to help. And it's not like you're telling them what to do. You're commanding that you need help on planet Earth in the densification to clear the freaking way for you to see, because you're not meant to go down in some kind of issue or problem. You can see the way. You can get help. Now, we don't want to bring ego into that at all and say, well, I didn't get this, or it didn't come the way I wanted. You want to leave ego right out of it. Okay? Because the nature of the 5D is, don't bring 3D into it. 5D is probably going to look different. Like, it's going to want you to go and do something perhaps that you wouldn't normally think of doing. But it's not going to kill you or anything. It's just perhaps you're going to have to use some bravery or some courage. Well, that's where you ask yet again. So perhaps instead of saying raise my vibration, you've done that, you've got some kind of information or feeling response or a visual or just an idea for a follow through. You got it. You got something. Okay? You'd have to be really down in the dumps and ignorant in a way not to actually acknowledge that you got something, because your vibration is so distant to receiving something of a lighter nature. Okay, but life is going to challenge us but it doesn't mean that it's of a lower nature. When we tend to feel fear of doing something new, we might hook onto the fear and try and battle it, focus on it, and give it more attention that it kind of blows up. So then we're like, oh, that mustn't be important, that thing. It's the fear that's more important. But no, it's the other way around. You gave your attention to the fear instead of, let's push the fear to the side. We've got the information. Something happened. We realize in that moment our human's going to have to go through some kind of transformation, because perhaps it wants us to go and speak to that person, or to go and do something we thought about doing but we've put it off, or so this is where co-creation helps with your guides. This is the subtle space strengthening. Okay, if you want some help and you don't know how it's going to come, you don't know how you could possibly ever think of doing this certain thing, you hold that space for transformation and growth for the light team, and you work with them on your soul path bravely. You say, so I haven't done this before, how in the hell am I going to do it? Give it over to them. This is the subtle realm invitation, but you give it over to your highest guides team. You don't ever need to take action in something that is to take away from life, to feel safe in fear. Okay, because that's just staying at a gunky vibration that is shifting on this planet right now, where we give in to the fear that we've focused on, and that takes over our lives, and we don't feel good or well, and it doesn't produce anything. That if we moved that to the side by saying, I feel fearful about this, I don't know how I'm going to do it, there is this light flow, energetic container, but not contained. I mean, it's yours for assistance, for your light field. You are aware of all the time. But, there is these elements that I'm speaking of, you can notice, that is the subtle invitation to strengthen the awareness that you are helped. So you might want, a request like, help me to keep this, even though I'm nervous, the ability that I can step into something. I can know what courage is. And these requests, some requests you might have, but this is where the mind is of use. Oh, I don't know if I can do that, because then go to the subtle. Guides, I don't know if I can do that because, but allow the subtle. See, because they knew it as soon as you thought it. It's energy. So they're aware of it. Are you going to hand it over for a little help, but you have to do the actions as well? This co-creative element. This is the transformation of the human. Otherwise, we expand the fear and call it life. Now, putting the fear aside again, we've invited our guides. The guides are gonna, because they know other guides in the field, for the other humans, they're gonna help lead, connect, and it's this availability to the higher light response that allows this quicker momentum of your guides with whoever else that can be brought energetically via their requests or their actions into your space. And soul paths get through easier when people are doing this. So as in quicker response of soul tribe, soul family, whatever you like to describe it as, connecting on earth, because we've already come here having lives, other lives with each other, or other connections in other lifetimes, and now we can play parts on earth that assist a macro view of what's going on and the macro of what's going on in your micro, and vice versa. So what's going on in your macro, micro, requesting for the macro of your life. So you've always got this, you won't always feel like a caterpillar going, yeah, no, actually we do. The caterpillar is like the human and the butterfly is like the spirit. And we are both. We are, the spirit is in human design right now. Is, there's no separation, but obviously when we finish on the planet, we leave the body behind. So this is where we need to bring it all together. Like, not that we are just, the body and thinking up life the way we want it. We are co-creators of the universe. Excuse me. So yeah, that's why I was mentioning Matthias as he was coming in, because lately it's been happening again where I can feel the electricity start to come in and bundle and try and use my energy field, and then all of a sudden something else is happening in my energy field and everything is just freaking annoying, because everything I've just explained, he needs to level up to in his awareness that he has had a lot going on and let a lot in his field, and over time expanded fear to be more of a controller, and that has to dissipate. You don't give your energy over to fears. This is the whole point of 5D, spreading your spiritual wings now, and not the heavy fear, safety, permission to do something construct outside of, feeling this safety of the 3D, same. That really spreading your wings is not just, moving around the globe. It's actually internal, following your soul, which is this holding of the space, knowing when you've got guidance, nearly like a flash of light that just sort of hits your body and runs it. Because like motors, when we work with our whole self, we feel when we get a hit of knowing something, or everything just starts to flow for some reason, because we've really worked our spark plugs. We've followed some things, and then some things have opened up. We get this guidance, and then if we feel fear, we can't get bogged down in it anymore. The fear is like part of the stepping stone for you to not become it. And so what do we have then? And this is that tearing away feeling. I'm coming back around full circle, I feel. This is that tearing away feeling I mentioned at the start, that you let go of the fear and you're spreading your spiritual wings to work with this transformation out of the old into the new, out of the old into the new. So you have to know if you're going into fear operation because it feels lower, it wants to be at fault with others, like blaming something's wrong out there, but really it's you're holding on to fear. And you want to ask, you want to honestly walk your spiritual path. Spiritual path. It's not a human holding on to fear. It's the spiritual path is we're going to feel fear here for the creation element of not becoming the fear, but what can we create through having known it? You know it, you don't want it. You have to not want the fear. Okay, because we can get cozy in the comfort of, oh, I've got the fear at bay, I've got the fear at bay. The fear isn't going anywhere. Law of attraction, you're still focusing on it. You are more the fear than the actual transformation. So it just brought me back to, what do we have in some of the strongest tearing away feelings on planet Earth at the moment? What do we have? This is what we have. If you turn to any scripture or religion, do that with an open mind and open heart, and don't feel like you're going to get stuck in more conforming of how the butterfly should be. Okay, because you're just going to get stuck in this heavy, when the butterfly wants to fly, but you've still got like this wing in the heavy. So the cocoon, so to speak, the world, the way the world wants me to be, which is predominantly fear-based and not expansively. So you can see how this rise of the butterfly, this rise of us into the 5D, you can't live in the fear aspects and put them onto others. Like blaming others is trying to make them feel at fault, is trying to create a fear atmosphere because you're holding on to fear. All right, so we need to analyze ourselves and walk the path, the spiritual human butterfly path that says we're not the caterpillar, we're the butterfly. We'll always have like the caterpillar aspect of nurture, eat, build resources for human physicality, but you're a spirit, you're a human spirit. So caterpillar and butterfly. Invite in the universal teachings, the intuitive nature guidance, and try to keep both wings open, so your space, when you ask honest questions, and even bow your head to this. All right? How do I get through this? And I hope, and I'm pretty sure, we will never again look silly doing that, because feel like we're being looked at in a way that's silly, because we got to start embracing this subtle, invisible, but felt, known, received antenna, like we are energy, we've received something, we start to live it. Shake off the fear. Shake off anything that the world would like to attach to your wing. And that's a really good thing about the butterfly I learned. one day I was stuck in traffic, and this is on topic, but just slightly off, a little story. I'm stuck in traffic. I was going to work a few years back, and it was a beautiful morning, and I'm just admiring the nature, because I've learnt to be more present in traffic. It's like, if you're stopped, don't just whinge and complain, although, get that out of your system, but just, and I'm looking over, and there's this beautiful, glorious, there was a few of them, spider webs, and it had like light drops, like the light was coming through the, what do you call it, the moisture, the dew on the grass and everything. And I wondered to myself, because there was also some butterflies around as well, and I wondered to myself, how do the butterflies get out of those webs? Because sometimes I haven't seen a butterfly literally stuck in it. I've sometimes seen a bit of a wing, or maybe a wing, or whatever. And I guess that just depends on the climate at the time, and, whether the butterfly can get out or whatnot. But they actually, I can't remember, like, the actual description of it, but they've got like these scales that can detach them from the web. I can't remember like what they're called, but so to me that is like a really good description in life, when we might feel stuck, but shake off that it is, the exterior world, it is not us. Keep going. So the butterfly can actually get out of that kind of texture of the web. So that's really nice to sit with, because, that's a really good oneness kind of central heart balancing, grounded, expansive kind of, energy awareness shift in our field. One with life kind of thing. Yeah, so that says so much about life. Beautiful butterfly, you're not meant to get stuck in a web in life. And spiders and their webs play a part, and they got to eat, and just the butterfly is able to get free. And like I said, so to speak, the nature elements, climate, perhaps the size of the butterfly, all these different things play a part. So you could say, like I was mentioning before, if we let the world come in, then maybe we're not in the condition to easily get out of something. Like energetically, like I said, if you're feeling like a lower vibration, it's going to take a little bit to expand your field. And that's how you don't attract certain things that make you feel low. You attract what you maintain. Yeah, so just like the butterfly, whatever condition it finds itself in. Maybe it's bumped into a few things, and maybe we've gotten down about a few things. So like, yeah. So you've got to maintain it so you can get out of that web easy. Okay, so we've hit the hour mark, and I would like to leave it there. So I think I've got the point across. So we'll leave it there. And I really just want, and I keep highlighting over and over, how we do have all of this, and it is our responsibility now to say to ourselves, this is the caterpillar butterfly path, the human spirit path. That I have to check when I'm more heavy in life and whether I do spread my wings and feel good, feel content. So you can see how it does take work for transformation and liftoff of your heart, mind, body, and soul contentment. All right? And you can't like look at someone and say, anymore, we can't really do this. If they've got what looks satisfying in the material world, they must have a content soul path. It's simply not the truth. I have a content soul path, and it doesn't matter what it looks like to anyone else. Okay, because the content soul path is, I'm willing to follow what I know, feel, see, understand is guidance for me. That's a content soul path. That is happy at the chest, happy at the solar plexus. I know guidance for me. That comes out my expression. That's why as a third eye soul, like my evolution as a soul has risen to my visionary qualities, visioning and vision ability qualities. And I do not want any distance in receiving my guidance with my crown chakra glorious and open. So just check in what you think contentment is, because it was exactly what I just said. It's not a judgment of how you may look at someone and what they have. Because on their soul path, they've decided what's important to their soul path. And that does not look like the latest model of a car. Or it could, if that's what they choose, congruently. It is whether that person, you can have a conversation with them and you just feel the resonance of light, content. They don't want anything, essentially. They're not like trying to work out like getting something. They are listening to their soul's guidance. They've done the work of this expansion. They understand a whole perspective. They're here to do their soul's work, and they love the planet. You could say this is the elements that is someone who has walked the and is in walking the spirit's soul, listening, guided, opening, expansive life experience path. They're not trying to have, trying to get, trying to look a certain way, trying to work the field of life to have a persona or an appearance. Now, this is talking about the basis elements, right? But like I said, the soul path can look different for everyone. So it's just not about the superficial nature of laying your eyes on someone and saying they're not doing their soul path, or that doesn't look like the soul path to me or something. I don't know. Or it's just not material enough to be what I think it should be. Something like this. When souls don't make a plan to come down and wear the latest of anything, or that could be a part of a soul's path in this brings me joy, right? But it's not who I am. But you will see on a soul path a lot of the time that the soul really fixed first and foremost, you will see and feel the resonance of joy. There will be joy in that person's vibe, look at life, whatever they're choosing to call their profession, their creative endeavors. There will be a joy element. This is the heart, and it's magnetic, and it's through our expression. And yeah, so you can tell when a person really isn't the soul will have some form of foundation of joy. Okay, so if someone is working very hard at something, but they don't have like a soul foundation of enjoyment, then there's something that you need refocusing on for that enjoyment. So what could you be holding off that you're not doing for this heart, soul, expression, expansion? Because we are hearts and souls at the centers of our being. This is our center, and the crown antenna, what lifts your spirit. Don't let the world weigh it down. This is what, your soul didn't come here to hush, be quiet, spirit, human, weighed down. So, only the person can do that and know that, because they are the butterfly, essentially, that has to do what they enjoy. There is no design that said, use it to go and suffer and not enjoy yourselves. So take a look at the percentage of what you enjoy in life, and you have the responsibility to put your feet on the earth doing that. Because I know it sounds like, what? People don't do joy? But a lot of the time, we are in mental constructs, and yeah, joy is not like a engaged response of your being. So that's something in the quiet, when you are holding space for yourself and you're opening bravely your wing to let your guidance, make sure it's higher guidance. It'll never be to hurt anyone or to plan a fearful outcome kind of thing. That, no. That just means you got to get more central and breathing and joy and loving response for yourself. So as you bravely open to doing that for yourself, you'll feel more of yourself, less fear-based, less fear going out from you. Other wing can go and learn to keep them up and out. Or when you go to bed at night, rest them, abdomen and heart, and say thanks for the day. And I'll just finish there, because I can go on and on. But like I was just saying, at the end of the day, 2 really good things I learned along the way was let out a sigh with like gratefulness. Dwell a little bit in any simplicity you could possibly feel the appreciation of gratefulness of. Whether it was just someone let your car merge into the lane easy, or someone thought of you in the day unexpectedly, or you surprised someone else by helping them. Just these feelings of gratefulness to sort of tuck you in at heart level and rest. And the other one is perhaps a hand over the abdomen for any fear we felt or were a part of with others, and forgive. I need to let go, love, and forgive myself or anyone else, because we are all here doing this human race thing, and sometimes we don't slow down enough and don't give each other the time enough. For whatever your wording is. Grateful at the heart, on the hand on the heart. Forgiving at the abdomen to release. And if you can manage those two things that bring about a balance in your being, it will be like roll over and rest and go to sleep. Okay, because you really did them. They were energy. Gee, today was, pretty good. Or, although today was tough and I really hated blah, 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 I also remember, blah, blah, blah. Oh, yeah, that was nice. Okay, that's an energetic, nice spirit taking care of self. That's a invitation of beautiful energy for rest. And no, life is not perfect, and I'm just gonna damn well forgive and forget, release, let go, not because I'm letting anyone off, not because I need to carry something with anger. I'm not gonna do these things. I'm gonna let my energy field let it go. Into the nothingness I go. I've cleared my field. God bless. Divine light being in oneness. I am this. All of this. All of this process, beautiful process I did for myself. Okay? It was work, yes. The day is of conscious work, but I can feel good. God bless. And we don't need to cling to anyone. Matthias, I am not a spider web. I do not need to hold on to your butterfly wings. Spread them yourself. Because we have this energetic connection, if I'm aware of him, he will latch onto my field. He needs to clear some fear, open to guidance. He knows we have to come together on a path. He needs to allow his guidance and embody it in trust and allow his transformation, letting fear distance himself. Transform. And your guides are always there. Your higher light guides are there 24/7, and they don't even think of it like that. They are there they're in there in everything, in every breath. You could be sitting in the bathroom. You could be, in the middle of a conversation. And you can, without words, we know we're multidimensional. I want to receive the guidance here. Not, I'm just manipulated by the human field, and if that takes me down, then that's who I am. That's not who we are. We're multidimensional. So work with your wings of light, reminding yourself, like the sides of our brain, be open and creative to the whole of life. Am I getting weighed down? Or I need to lighten up on this side. Guides, you know, my usual blocks. I want to clear this. I want to see clear. And this is where we have to be brave. Because if you're